Death and resurrection in superhero stories can be egregious, cliche, eye-rolling inducing, and even alienating to fans, but if done right, it can result in some of the genre's most powerful stories. One of the most controversial deaths in the history of Batman comics was the murder of Jason Todd, the second person to hold the mantle of Robin by the Joker. While the young Robin was killed after being beaten by a crowbar and caught in an explosion, it was actually the fans who offered the character, as they were given a choice by DC Comics to call in a vote for whether Jason Todd would live or die in 1988's storyline known as A Death in the Family. So when the death votes won, the character was killed. Due to the grim and life-changing effects the death had on Batman, it was thought that Todd had become one of the few comic book characters who would stay dead. But it wasn't to be. In 2005's Under the Red Hood story arc, the character returned as a villain seeking vengeance against Batman. While the comics were controversial, they threw in an interesting development into the saga of Batman, who sought out to unravel the mystery of his new enemy while being confronted by one of his greatest failures. Although the controversy and some storytelling setbacks kept the comic book storyline from being truly spectacular, the 2010's Warner Brothers animation film Batman Under the Red Hood is a pitch-perfect retelling of the story that not only tops the original comic version, but stands toe-to-toe with any Batman film, live-action or animated. Directed by Brandon Vietti, starring Bruce Greenwood as Batman, Jensen Ackles as Jason Todd, John DiMaggio as the Joker, Neil Patrick Harris as Nightwing, and written by Judd Winick. Under the Red Hood is thrilling, emotional, and must-see for any Batman fan. Opening with the death of the teenage Robin, it's clear from the very start that Under the Red Hood will be a film that pulls no punches. And this is clearly a very dark story, with murder, violence, and emotional turmoil on the table from early on. But it's not a bleak and dreary affair either, as early battle that sees Batman and Nightwing fighting the powerful robot as Amzimo delivers some of the spectacular and bright superhero action. Mostly important, Under the Red Hood knows how to keep the stakes high while switching between drama and dark comedy. At the forefront is Greenwood's Batman, who is particularly perfect at his job, but is still human. In fact, Batman barely takes a scratch throughout his many battles in the feature-length film. Instead, it's the emotional journey he goes on that is the true challenge, showing that a compelling Batman story doesn't have to boil down to the hero being beaten down, but rather being forced to fight a mental and emotional battle. Greenwood's gruff and forceful take on the Dark Knight gives him a sense of age and gravitas, without making him feel old or downtrodden. This is a Batman who is totally committed to his war on crime and cannot be stopped. On the other side of this battle is the Red Hood, whose definitive identity remains murky for half of the film prior to the major reveal. While we see both a childhood and a teenage Jason Todd, the character's major arc is in his present-day adult incarnation. Voiced by Ackles, Todd is an emotionally scarred and disturbed man who walks the line between a villain and anti-hero. His violent methods of disposing of criminals and pursuit of profit well fit with an anti-hero's past, but his quest for vengeance against the Batman keeps him as a complex villain. Truly, it's Batman's refusal to kill the Joker after the Madman has killed so many that puts Todd against Batman. If DC ever wanted to bring this story to life as a live-action film, Ackles would be perfect, as his voice acting and on-camera performance in Supernatural would make him a fantastic fit. Of course, he should have been Hawkeye in the Marvel Cinematic Universe already, but that's getting off topic. Throwing further complexities into the narratives are Harris's Nightwing, who brings a lighter side that breaks up the dark drama, and DiMaggio's Joker, who is truly psychotic and constantly on the verge of grisly violence, while Mark Hamill's Joker from Batman the Animated Series and Heath Ledger's performance in The Dark Knight are the seminal interpretations of the villain. DiMaggio offers a fantastic interpretation here. His dark, sarcastic voice acting pair well with a far more violent edge than typically seen in a cartoon Joker. In addition, the crime lord known as a Black Mask, voiced by Wade Williams, adds a face to the criminal underworld, as he flips back and forth between attacking Red Hood and running from him. Great Batman stories always have to deal with one intolerable fact. Batman will always end up winning in the end. He is the smartest, strongest, and most capable character in any of his stories. So how do you make a compelling narrative when the hero is particularly unbeatable? The drama of Under the Red Hood isn't about whether Batman will live or die. It's about what will happen to the disturbed Jason Todd and the lives of people he endangers. Best of all, there are lingering questions by the end of the film and ambiguities regarding Jason's true nature and Batman's war on crime, but leaving the answers up to the viewers. The film is raised to a level higher than a simple action movie. While Under the Red Hood may not have the epic scope that other Batman films have had, it's the focus of the narrative and strength of the characters that elevates it from start to finish. Rather than tell yet another Batman dies story or give up strong characters for a massive scope, this is a film that knows how good a tightly focused Batman adventure can be. There's no need to jam in extraneous characters or bloat the runtime here. This is simple and a straightforward narrative that is most complex when it comes to morality and character. Even given the limitations of a direct-to-video budget, this is storytelling that matches any big-time budget superhero film and truly does justice to the world of Batman. I'm gonna give Batman Under the Red Hood a 9 out of 10. This is a must-watch for any comic book fan out there, and in my opinion, is better than most live-action comic book movies released in recent years.